This is the last time I'm going to try and record this cast for the last time tonight. I've had a lot of really weird stuff happening with the platform tonight. I'm going to give it one more shot. Third time's the charm. And then we'll go to the FAF technical help page, which has been very helpful. And I realize I haven't introduced the video yet. But, okay. Digressing wildly. Cast coming down for y'all today on the Path to Valhalla. This map looks very similar to another one that is super popular. The name escapes me. It'll come back to me. It's like a FAF classic. It rhymes with like retins or something like that. It's retcons, something like that. Anyway, let's get into introducing our players. It's Settins, by the way, for anybody who might be new to Supreme Commander. But starting off in the northern position, we have Massey McGee amassing a critical mass of mass extractors to inflict some malcontent on the malicious actors that he sees across the channel. I watched V for Vendetta last night, and I'm hoping to. That was my best interpretation, or my best imitation of Hugo Weaving's speech at the beginning. You should watch that movie if you haven't. Moving to the south, we have Will-O-Wisp. It's going Cybran opening first land. To the north, we have Warner Valhall, who's going a UEF opening first land as well in kind of the rearguard air position. In the south, we have the bigger hammer. Doesn't matter how big your hammer is, his is always going to be bigger. You could have the biggest hammer, but his is going to be bigger because if you compare bigger with, if you use the comparative and compare it with the superlative, then it's still bigger. English is a weird language, guys. In the middle slot, we have PR Outreach going for that personal record on the business development software. Outreach is a BDR in disguise. Some of the software guys might get that one, but he's going first land as the UEF. And down at the south, we have the man with no soul, Dajinja, going at Cybran opening first land. Now, shifting to the other side because I am way behind and I got distracted like a my dog who sees a squirrel or something, but we don't have squirrels, so there we go again, getting distracted. Schmuckenbenny going Seraphim. He opened first land going for his naval factory. In the middle position, we have Blistery Mystery. Sometimes his mystery is so fast it confuses the rest of us. Maybe even confuses himself as he tries to unravel the mystery that is himself. Now, to the east, we have Evil Drew on his way to the middle, concocting all sorts of wickedness with that UEF commander. He's opened first air, actually. I think first player to actually open first air. To the south, we have Tiberius the 27th, who is going to be sending his legions of UEF air superiority fighters into the beyond in this game. He's going UEF opening first air, so second first air open that we've seen. Next, we've got Drunken Chaos doing his best imitation of drunken boxing and drunken martial arts, luring his opponents into a state of complacency and then whipping out a tactical nuke or a strategic nuke at 5 minutes into the game. He's going at Cybran opening first land. And last but not least, we have Dark Templar, who is going Aeon. Only Aeon represented actually in this game. He went first land, I think second air, and then third, fourth, and fifth Navy, it would appear. So, talking about the map, because I've gotten so distracted with random things, this map is very similar to Settins Clutch. If you guys are potentially newer to the game, that's one of the more famous maps that you'll see played quite often in the Forge Alliance Forever community. But very similar. We've got two bodies of water separated by a landmass. Big differences are that this is a 10 by 10 map. Second big difference is it's a 6 versus 6 instead of a 4v4. Island placement is a little bit different. The middle causeway looks to be a little bit wider to me, or a little bit bigger. But I mean, I don't know. If you've got two balls and then with something in the middle, depending on the size of the balls, that thing in the middle might look a little bit bigger. So, I'm not sure. Judge me. I don't speak from experience there. So, maybe check it for yourself and let me know what you guys think. But other big difference is there's not a whole lot of reclaim here in the middle. On Settins Clutch, you've got Salem's, Loyalists, and then I think some Pillars as well that make up a whole lot of reclaim. There is some reclaim here in the middle, but much bigger focus is going to be on these kind of 9 mexes and who controls those to get kind of an early eco advantage in the game. Speaking of early advantage in the game, we have the bigger hammer whacking down his hammer with some early frigate aggression here. Dark Templar focusing a little bit more on getting some more manufacturing capacity up before getting some of his... Or, well, now he does have 2 frigates out here, so just in the wrong spot at the wrong time. Beacon class frigate, of course, not that great, especially when you have a sub that is backing him up. But two of them are like twice as good as one of them. It's crazy how the scaling works. As Dejinja actually walking his commander to grab these 2 mexes, sort of in the middle, but there are Auroras. The floating nonsense that the Aeon continues to bring to bear. Gonna be able to take out those mexes. There's actually a lot of Cybern in this game, which makes me very happy. I am a Cybern player. If you like to play Cybern, then you have a friend in me. And you have been scorned by Guile for so long. You have a friend in me. As we do have some more floating nonsense coming in from the bigger hammer. Going to take out one of the naval factories there for Dark Templar. But that, I think, is about all they're going to get done. Not going to be able to get anything really else done. Get a little bit of damage into a naval factory. Towards the middle, though, we do have T2 for Blistery Mystery. Getting his Cerberus turret down. We have gun damage and range on the way for Evil Drew. And then on the flip side, I saw a T2 upgrade there for OGW PR Outreach _ Business Development Representative, who's got some triads that are dropping down as well. So he's got a little bit more of a point defense creep going. Took a little bit of an interesting approach. It looks like he started it with his commander and has T1 engineers going behind and finishing it off. It's my preferred way of getting finished off, is get a commander to start me off and then get finished off by a couple of T1 engineers. If I was a triad, at least. I don't speak from experience again. And now we got nano repair on the way for Evil Drew. Whole lot of evil coming out of Evil Drew there. Cerberus did go down. Blistery Mystery rebuilds another one on that foundation. Goes to work on the Triad's foundation. Potentially not going to get finished off by the T1 engineers. And actually goes for the block there. Does pick up the block on a couple of the commander shots, but is going to still lose. Triad goes and drops it immediately again, although the block doesn't seem to be working this time. So I'm not 100% sure how that works. Factory blocks I've never quite understood how they work. I just know that they're good and I try and use them and normally forget. Oh, now it seems to be working. Triad's gonna go up. Does get finished off by the T1 engineers. Won't be very long for this world though, as Evil Drew's heavily upgraded commander now starts rolling in. Gonna massacre the T1 engineers. Blistery Mystery in close pursuit, and Outreach now in a little bit of trouble here. Gonna be forced off of the front line, I think. Point defense alone will not save you against that level of commander firepower. As Triads and T1 PD is going to go down to Evil Drew's commander. The PD is actually focusing on Blistery Mystery here. Maybe realizing it's almost pointless to attack Evil Drew's commander right now. But Evil Drew electing to pursue Outreach well into enemy territory here. Does bring in some air cover to support, although it doesn't really look like there's been a huge focus on any air snipes any air snipes of any, why can't I speak? Any air snipes of any consequence. That's what I was looking for. But Evil Drew gonna play it a little bit safe. Into the yellow though, before he backs off. We do have some commander help coming in from the bigger hammer. He's gonna help his buddy Outreach. And that is a drop coming in from Evil Drew. Looks like T2 engineers, actually Sparkies, as well as some T1 engineers. They go straight to work on several T1 PD as quickly as they can. Sparky's, of course, able to kind of cover themselves while getting those point defense down. You don't see Sparky's utilized a whole lot. This could be a good case for why they're really good. But T1 PD going to really tear apart this base. As Bigger Hammer says, you are high maintenance, man. Although that's weird. You would think that with the gigantic hammer that he has, he could do all of the maintenance in the world, right? At least any maintenance that required a hammer. So like hanging pictures or, I don't know, fixing wooden thing, fixing wooden things. So you can tell I'm a very handy person, as you can tell whenever it comes to tools. Meanwhile, in the middle, Evil Drew on the warpath once again, as Outreach getting forced further back into his base, trying to get some point defense up, but I don't really think Evil Drew is going to really give two hoots about the T1 PD. And I think maybe respecting Outreach a little bit too much here with his commander. Again, though, it's all about playing it safe. He doesn't have a whole lot in terms of air coverage right in the middle, and he does have a really good drop, very effective here, that has effectively deleted Dejinja from the game. Dejinja now only with a land factory and 2 mexes to his name. He's already lost his soul, so you know what else can you possibly take away from this poor man? But he's going to move in with the Bigger Hammer. The Bigger Hammer is going to come down real hard on these T1 PD. And actually the T1 PD going after Dejinja, who's taking a pretty significant amount of damage from these PD. I don't think he really wants to be taking that amount of damage. And does end up backing off. I'm going to leave the Bigger Hammer to smash the rest of it into oblivion. But the woes have not ended, as the disgusting floating armada makes their way across the channel, takes out the rest of Dejinja's production, and now he really only has a Mex and his commander to his name. Meanwhile, on the southern side, or the northern pond, we started to see some naval skirmishes here. T2 out for Massey McGee. And Schmuckin' Benny actually going for some floating nonsense instead of going for T2 right off the bat. I'm not sure if he has an upgrade in progress. Nope, looks like he's going straight T1 spam, trying to get as many frigates out as he can. Viable strategy to try and overwhelm your opponent before they can get critical mass of, well, Massey McGee can approach critical mass. Thank you, I'll be here all week. All right, in the next 5 minutes, if it doesn't crash, maybe we're going to be okay. As T3 now comes in for Will-O-Wisp, who is incidentally kind of the ringer for team number 1, and Evil Drew would be his mirror on team number 2. But talking about the map a little bit more, this is one of those maps that a very dedicated player base play. So you'll often see people, you'll often see the same people playing this particular map, and it's kind of developed like a secondary sentence where the players that play it and play it a lot have really got their build orders down and are really good at building on a particular map like this. Some of the ones that I see on this map a lot are, I see Will-O-Wisp on it all the time, Warner Valhall a good amount. None of the others stand out to me as ones that I've seen on this map a lot, but it does have that kind of cult following, like Settins does. As we'll stay relatively zoomed out here, but it's looking like Schmuckin' Benny gonna lose his navy to the T2 pressure. Not able to field enough Zuis to really make it, really offset the tech difference, and not able to get enough frigates out to get enough numbers out, so strategy didn't work out for him. Incidentally, we do have Tiberius the 27th, who's at T3. They have a bunch of T1 bombers coming in to, I'm assuming, just kind of die. There is a flak there in the middle, I believe. Somewhere. It's in there, I think. I heard flak going off. There's flak there somewhere, trust me. Anyway, in the northern pond, Schmuckin' Benny has lost 2 of his naval factories, and that is 3 destroyers that he's up against. Gonna need some torpedo bomber support. He does have 1 that is coming out, but probably gonna be evicted from the naval game here in the near future if he doesn't get some help from his air player to get some, whether it be Evil Drew or Tiberius the 27th. Let's get some torpedo bombers over. It does look like Evil Drew starting to mass some storks, assisting this heavily. Evil Drew incidentally taking his comm off the front line, focusing on getting matters together at home, and it's going to leave Blistery Mystery to hold the front line. Dejinja still struggling to get a handle on the game here. Does now have a factory at least to his name and a power generator. Doesn't have any mexes though, so you know, I guess you're gonna trade a mex for a factory and a power generator. I feel like that's a good trade as far as mass for mass goes. Game has not crashed yet. It's not crashed yet. Everybody say a prayer. Although realistically, if this makes it to YouTube, it means it didn't crash, because I have the most monstrous voice crack I've had in my entire adult life. Monkey Lord now done for Will-O-Wisp. That's going to shake things up. Looks like he's going to be sending this. Let's see if he's got some rally points queued up, or some move orders queued up. Okay, so he's going to bringing it in through the northern pond. Does have a good amount of naval coverage there from Massey McGee. So probably a pretty good idea. Doesn't want to get it scouted though. And I'm not sure if there's really anything that can stop that bad boy from team number 2. Schmuckin' Benny, I don't think has anything really that is going to stop it. He's focusing almost entirely on torps right now, which is understandable because he's getting destroyed by Navy. But not going to be able to stop the Monkey Lord, and I don't really see a whole lot from Evil Drew either that could stop it. Evil Drew also focusing on storks and getting some artillery up to try and gain control of that northern pond once again. But here we've got nothing but air nothing but air time coming in for team number 2 in this southern pond, as they're able to float as many auroras over as they want, continue to give poor Dejinja the worst time of his life as he tries to rebuild his base again, I think for the 3rd time. But not able to get, I guess, like a whole lot done. I mean, they're definitely making it terrible for Dejinja. But other than that, you know, they haven't been able to break into Bigger Hammer's base. I think it's mostly just a distraction. And it is working. I think the Monkey Lord was pinged there by team number 2. So I think they might have seen it. Let's see. Nope, still on, well, at least it's not showing up on radar. It might have gotten caught by one of these engineers' line of sights. Monkey Lord gonna submerge beneath the waves though. And it looks like Evil Drew as well as Schmuckin' Benny's efforts have paid off, as Massey McGee has now been forced to retreat tail between his legs. And it would appear that air control is pretty heavily in Team 2's favor right now, as I'm not really seeing any ASFs out from Warner Valhall yet. That's the first one that I think I've seen, whereas Tiberius the 27th does have a little bit of an air wing that can cover these torpedo bombers, so definitely gives them a good advantage there in the northern pond. But I'll tell you what might change all that up is this guy who's coming in. Still don't know why they call it a spider bot. It has 6 legs. How many spiders do you know that have 6 legs? That bothers me. But Schmuckin' Benny is about to meet his maker here, as the Monkey Lord now firmly in view. And he's just either doesn't care or isn't paying attention. But that Monkey Lord is just going to lock onto that commander, laser that bad boy down. And now it's time to panic if you're team number 2. Pings start going out. Oh, and the bigger hammer has been defeated by Drunken Chaos. That was a Corsair snipe. Well, that's not good for team number 1. That's effectively 2 players eliminated, although team number 2 is about to lose their 2K rated player in Evil Drew here. As Evil Drew gets taken out by the Monkey Lord. That is definitely going to hurt. Evil Drew has held this team 2's roster together throughout the entire season. By season, I mean 18 minutes or so. As Corsairs are dispatched from Drunken Chaos. Try and take this spider bot down a notch, but looks like Tiberius the 27th is next on the menu for the spider bot. And probably not going to be able to get enough damage into it fast enough before Tiberius is going to find himself caught in the spider's web here. Maybe? Yep, alright. Spider's caught itself a little Tiberius fly. That is going to be 3 kills there for Will-O-Wisp. Can't be mad about that one. Talk about a value Monkey Lord right there. We're able to take out Bigger Hammer though, so you know it's not entirely a lost cause, I think, for team number 2. As team number 2 have, even though all this is dead, team number 2 have kind of equalized things here, as Dejinja is essentially out of the game and Bigger Hammer is literally out of the game. So even though it is 3 kills, 3 versus 5 right now, I still think team 2 are not in the worst position ever imaginable. And this is actually going to help as well. As actually, I'm not quite sure what happened here, but Massey McGee seems to have lost some of his mass extractors, which is kind of a bummer when your name is Massey McGee. That is a nuke that is completed construction there for Will-O-Wisp. The nuke itself is about 2/3 of the way done. And let's see if there's any SMD on the field. So there is an SMD here for Drunken Chaos. No other SMDs that I can see. I do love this strategic icons mod. Makes these things so much easier to find. But that nuke is going to complete, and actually Drunken Chaos is not loaded, although he will be loaded by the time that nuke is ready, so should be fine, should be fine. As the Dark Templar continuing to encroach on his Aeon Crusade into Dejinja's territory, what is formerly his territory. I think at this point Dejinja is just like, yep, I'm a commander. That is how I'm going to play the game. I'm going to play this game like a story-based RPG instead of an real-time strategy game. I am just the commander, and I'm going to level up my commander as much as I can. Might be a good thumbnail. Go ahead and grab that real quick. Thumbnail opportunity. If I can grab it. There we go. Nice little backdrop there. A nice little cinematic shot. Nothing looks like it's happening in the game here. And at least we can see this. Okay, something's happening in the game. I need to move. Nuke coming out from Will-O-Wisp. Making its way downtown. It is going, though, straight for Drunken Chaos. Drunken Chaos, of course, loaded with that SMD. So, Nuke not going to land. Unfortunately there for Will-O-Wisp. Anti-nuke goes out, and bam. I do like how Evil Drew just called Drunken Chaos Drunker. But Djinja actually going for a T2 upgrade. That was that upgrade that we were getting that cinematic shot of. And I'm curious what the plan is here for Team 1, because I think they need to do something. They need to get control of their mainland once again. Because every second that they're losing this is giving both Dark Templar as well as Drunken Chaos and Blistery Mystery more opportunity to gain control of their mainland unopposed. And you can see all of the engineers funneling out of Blistery Mystery's base. This could change things, though. We've got 2 Revenants on the way for Will-O-Wisp. Where is Blistery Mystery's commander? There is no air player anymore, at least. Okay, so Drunken Chaos does have T3 air, so needs to get those Gemini in gear. And those are actually going after the SMD that is just going to, the bomb just missing as the shield blinks on. It's going to take out the SMD, and that's going to leave team number 2 defenseless against the next nuke, I believe. I don't see a second SMD up. Where's Will-O-Wisp on that second nuke? Third of the way there. I think that Team 2 is focused mostly on getting control and maintaining control of this southern island. Look at that, Djinja contributing, putting down some Cerberus turrets. Love to see it. So, missile ships out now from Dark Templar, and those are going to be difficult to deal with, I think, from the point of view of team number 1. As team number 1 seemed to be a step ahead in some senses and a step behind in other senses. I think in terms of map control, they're not doing it, but in terms of late game, as long as Will-O-Wisp has kind of the airtime he needs to keep these nukes cranking out, it's going to be a rough time if you're team number 2. SMD is newly reconstructed, throwing all the assistance I think that he can on it, but he's going to have to bust a move to make sure that SMD is up and loaded. We'll check back in on that whenever the nuke is done. Second missile ship now rolls off the line there for Dark Templar. And the more missile ships you get out, exponentially more difficult they become to deal with. As missile ships actually going after the T3 mexes. Oh, hello. We need to deal with this first. Looks like we have a T1 bomber snipe attempt there from Blistery Mystery. Actually going to get some pretty significant damage in. Unfortunately, not enough damage there for Blistery Mystery. Warner Valhall as well as the Flak should be able to clear out the rest of these. But how far in can these missile ships reach is the question. Yeah, they can reach a long way in. So if we grid it here, then it covers almost all of Team 1's bases. As that nuke now fires off, where do we sit with the SMD? It is not loaded. It's time to run, baby. Oh, and he had just started on a disruptor too. Where is Drunken Chaos's commander? Drunken Chaos's commander is safe in the water, but gonna lose his core mass, his core eco, his core power, his core build power. He just needs to work on his core. He needs to do some crunches. That's actually worse than I thought it was gonna be. That was a lot of damage. Gonna need some flex tape for that one. As Salem's from Massey McGee now starting to cause problems for Blistery Mystery. T1 bombers being redirected to respond. So now everybody should be building SMDs, like immediately, for team number 2. Salem's causing, I wouldn't say huge problems, but being incredibly annoying as another torrent now comes off the line there for Dark Templar, and Dark Templar actually losing control now of the mainland here. Does have T2 out. Well, I said losing control, but it's looking like the Blazes might be able to hang on for the time being. Large amounts of engineers come forward to start scooping reclaim there for outreach. Outreach been the anvil that the hammer has crushed so many times in this game. Still hanging on. The torrents though now starting to eat through the TMD. There's not enough TMD to deal with the torrents. Quite sure why they stopped. Maybe repositioning for another assault. As we now have ambassadors out from Warner. Oh, and that's going to be PR Outreach defeated by Dark Templar. I wonder if that was the missile ships. I might load in and double check. That'd be the first time I've ever seen missile ships snipe a commander. But either way now, that was a lot of the defense there for team number 1 on the northern side of the map. I'll go back and load and watch the replay, and I'll drop a little clip as far as like what he got killed by up in the go upper right hand corner. Make it more difficult for my editing skills, my meager editing skills. As a disruptor now on the way for Will-O-Wisp, or at least formerly on the way, isn't on the way anymore. Missile ships now getting into range of Will-O-Wisp space. That's looking like it's going to be a T3 mechs going down. Those don't come cheap. These are not your Kia Soul of mexes. It's like your Cadillac of mexes. Your Maserati, if you will. That's going to be 2 of those down, though, for Will-O-Wisp. He's not going to be super happy about that one. As it looks like we've got a drop coming in now from Will-O-Wisp. T2 transport airlifting 2 Rambo preset commanders. Go to work on a SAM launcher as well as several factories now here on the flank of Blistery Mystery. That is going to be a thorn in the side there for team number 2. Need to shut that down as quickly as they can. Don't see any response yet though from Blistery. It's a mystery. Yeah, they definitely scouted it too. So they're not going to be able to deal with it with air because of those flak and the SAMs that went down. So I gotta say, Rambo presets showcasing their build power there. Definitely an advantage. Torrent missile ships even able to reach this Tech 3 power generator there for Massey McGee, which is, I think, his only T3 power. And going for large amounts of aircraft carriers with T1 bombers. That is a lot of T1 bombers. Curious what his plan is with that one. He might just be using these as construction platforms. Aircraft carriers do produce units relatively quickly. As towards the south, the Rambo presets are now that they've set up their factories and making their way into the newly reclaimed eco that used to be at Tiberius the 27th space. Corsairs being utilized to respond, as well as Gunther fire. Trying to get some auto guns down, but these Rambo comms really taking quite a punishing. Nano commander, or that nano upgrade, doing work here for him. I'm kind of invalidating my own science video by doing this cast, so you know, it's okay, we'll work with it. I'm wrong almost all the time, I think, with the videos that I put up. That's not true. I don't think I'm wrong almost all the time. I think I'm wrong all the time. Rambo commanders, though, taking out the T1 point defense, as well as the mexes that have been newly erected. And it's just kind of difficult for these Corsairs, I think, to out-damage the 400 HP per second that this nano repair is flinging back onto the commander. Need large chunks of damage instead of just kind of little spread out pieces of damage. Corsairs definitely struggling, especially now that there's a Burst Master down. We are starting to get some Oblivion turrets put up from Dark Templar, and at least that's going to take out the flak, hopefully. Gives these Corsairs a little bit of room to breathe. Now we've got gunships coming in. Gunship's going to be a little bit more effective, I think, a little bit more consistent damage. And the Oblivion turret's actually doing huge amounts of damage to that one Rambo comm, as more and more Renegades show up through all of his build power on Renegades. And no nano repair is going to save you from that one, friendo. First one goes down, second one soon to follow. Don't think he's going to get a whole lot more done back here with those Rambo presets. And incidentally, was able to take out most of this little fire base, so 2-for-1 deal. As poor Dejinja is trying to build... Okay, I panicked there for a second. That was just that support comm going pop. As Dejinja still trying to build himself a little bit of a base on 3 eco. I think he is, at least he's getting E overflow. Let's talk about checking on late game for Dark Templar as well as Blistery Mystery. Drunken Chaos has recovered somewhat, but seems to be just throwing everything into unit production right now and is going to live off of other people's overflow as far as energy goes. You guys love friends like that, right? Where you're like a really, really good cook and you start making food, and then they're just acting like Kramer and Seinfeld and just coming in and raiding your fridge all the time. Yeah, I feel like that's what Drunken Chaos is doing. Living up to his name, though, my roommates, whenever I was in college, would always get drunk and steal my food out of the fridge. I'm sure if you're in college, you've dealt with similar things. Although it was kind of a quid pro quo, because I would do that as well whenever I was drunk, so it was just kind of like it's everybody's food at that point. Although I got better food. I got like real meat and stuff like that. All right, Corsairs inbound. A lot of them are getting taken out, though, by ASF. I'm not sure what they're going after. They weren't going after the nuke. I think they were going after the shield generator. Interesting choice of targets. But that is going to be another nuke out from Will-O-Wisp. This time going for Dark Templar, who does have an SMD up. So that is not going to impact. Hopefully this doesn't. I think it was going for right here. Yeah, so the SMD is going to be able to pick that up. We have Laser coming in for Drunken Chaos. So not only is he not going to produce any of his own energy, but he's going to pick one of the most energy expensive builds in the game, going for Laser. We also got a GC under construction there for Dark Templar. And as far as experimentals go, I saw a Fat Boy up here that was under construction a while back. Looks like it's still under construction there for Warner Valhall. I have no idea if I'm pronouncing that correctly. We have more T1 bombers, like more T1 bombers than anybody could ever need, coming out from Massey McGee. You could say he's amassing a massive amount of T1 bombers. up at 187. This Will-O-Wisp is pinging out a T1 Mex that has gone unupgraded by Massey McGee, not living up to his name. GC gets completed. Another missile ship comes off of the production line. Missile ship's having trouble, I think, finding good targets of opportunity at this point. Willow has gotten a ton of TMD up in that base. And the T1 bombers are being used for killing off the artillery that is coming across from Drunken Chaos. So at this point, I'm going to try my hand at color commentating here. I think that Team 1 is definitely in a better position based on the fact that they have a disruptor up, and Team 2 cannot hit back at that disruptor. There we go. The commentating has now been colored. Realistically though, it's just one disruptor, so you can shield against that. Team number 2 still have good control over this beachhead. Need to get some experimentals up in here. And need to figure out a way to get into Will-O-Wisp's base. Take him out, I think, is the best course of action. And GC's probably one of the best tools in Team number 2's toolkit to do that. As you see, Dark Templar now going for a second one. First one making its way across the ocean. But I don't think the missile ships are going to be enough to break through this. They are going to be enough to take out some of the eco options, though, for Order Valhalla, and just really set up an exclusion zone, which I think is really good. But gonna need some more heavy machinery to get in and among Team 1's real eco. As Blistery Mystery needs to focus on a little bit more shielding. You can shield against this, especially if you've got hives. Hives assisting that shield regeneration pretty quickly there. But needs to get a couple more shields up so that he can get full coverage of his base. He has a couple of P-gens hanging out. And his Tech 3 land HQ is also slightly exposed. Seems to be the target there for Will-O-Wisp. I thought that would work. It doesn't work. I'm not sure whether he's targeting the hives or the land HQ. Ultimately, though, it doesn't matter. The disruptor has, I think, the lowest accuracy of any T3 artillery. Then we have our first attempted land incursion from Dark Templar. Gonna run over a lot of Djinja's base there before getting absolutely masticated by T1 bombers from Massey McGee. I think that Massey McGee might be able to just snipe a comm outright. Flak or no flak. I think he might be able to do it. As we now have a large wing of Corsairs coming in as well. In conjunction with a GC from Dark Templar. Looks to be going after Warner's commander. And that is going to be a pop. Nice snipe there. Warner defeated by Will-O-Wisp. No, not quite. He was defeated by Blistery Mystery. But that means that Air Player is now out of the game. Although he was kind of an air-land hybrid at that point. And Djinja now finding himself in a rough position. It is just his commander, so maybe he's okay with giving his life for the cause. As the commander detonation kills off the Harby army from Arby's from Dark Templar. Now the GC is getting absolutely roasted by T1 bombers. You can see down there in the bottom left just the HP evaporate off of that GC from the huge amounts of T1 bombers. The game can't even render all of it. And now we've got gunships from Blistery Mystery. Gunship's gonna get taken out by Flak though. Might get a T3 P-gen, but Nope, not even gonna be able to manage that. I see, even with flak, there's several mobile flak in this mix. These bombers just able to have their way with Dark Templar's army. Let's check up on, okay, so Blistery Mysteries base is starting to split apart here a little bit. Was not able to get enough shielding up. And what is that doing to Drunken Chaos's power situation? Okay, he's still hanging on. He's 46% of the way to teleporter. 47. He'll be there in a couple minutes. And we do have tele defense now coming in for Will-O-Wisp, so I think best target of opportunity might be the well, can he even get into, I don't think he can even get into range of the disruptor without also getting into range of the Cerberus turret. So Telemazer not really going to do anything for him. Massey McGee as well as even Will-O-Wisp's comm are actually just going into the water, so Will-O-Wisp not relying on the tele defense there. And the monkey should be able to deal with the land spam if it can figure out how to tune its microwave correctly. These are Auroras, sir. They're not hot pockets. You need to aim the laser down a little bit. It's just shooting like right over the top every single time. This is hilarious. I wonder if that's a bug with the targeting of the Monkey Lord, because it is doing it very regularly. I might go test that after I get done with this game. Send it into the devs. That is another nuke out from Will-O-Wisp, not to be confused with Willow's duality. That is going after Blistery Mysteries base. No anti-nuke there. And for all of their map control, team number 2 just really struggling with breaking, kind of getting it the last quarter mile or so to the finish line, as Blistery Mystery going to lose pretty much his entire base and is now going to join Drunken Chaos in the land of the baseless commanders. Massey McGee now has an experimental unit. Not sure what he was building. Looks like a Monkey Lord down under the sea. But things are a little static right now. Not really sure what the long-term plan is for either team, to be honest with you. I think that maybe mass strats for team number 2, although nobody is T3 air, I don't think. Drunken Chaos was before he got nuked. And then we got T3 land here for Dark Templar. And no T3 air for Blistery Mystery either. So strats are off the table. You can go for experimentals, but I've kind of tried that already. We've got another GC making its way over. I think maybe if you had 2 or 3 experimentals. I'm not quite sure what happened to all the T1 bombers. Are they in the aircraft carriers? I'm not sure. I'm not sure if there's a way to see if an aircraft carrier has stuff in it. Is there any kind of model or anything like that? Doesn't look like it, at least that I can see. Although that is a cool TMD. And Drunken Chaos was going for a tele upgrade, but might have thought better of it now that they have no energy anymore. And I think Team 2 are going to potentially just starve themselves out of this game. They don't have an answer for the Disruptor. Or the Monkey Lords, and no real way to get into Will-O-Wisp's base. As the Disruptor is now targeted Drunken Chaos's base. We'll begin taking apart mexes. The Monkey from Massey McGee gonna take out a lot of the rest of what's going on here for Blistery Mystery. And nothing really that Blistery Mystery can do to can do about it, as he actually just gifts everything over. Not sure where his commander is. His commander's in here, but he just gifts everything over to Drunken Chaos to wrap up the game. So I think that team 2 will look back on the GC push into the middle, where there were just a bajillion T1 bombers. And I think that they can look at that as the time that they lost momentum. So I think that even if, you know, T1 bombers notwithstanding, because I mean, even if you have flak or redeemers, that amount of T1 bombers is still probably going to kill an experimental. But if you had 2 experimentals or 3 whenever you went in, might be a different game. As it is, the monkey is just kind of roaming through Team 2's bases, and Team 2 is now just kind of relocated all their infrastructure to the other side. But I'm not sure where they're getting their energy. I have another beautiful voice crack. You're welcome. I'm here all week. GC gonna duke it out with the Monkey Lord, but just passing, and GC going to lose firing solution. Onto the Monkey Lord, gonna walk itself into a whole load of Cerberus fire, and that GC is going to go down. I can put on my Cortana voice there and say, Captain, I think that GC was our last offensive option. So yeah, pair up the 2 GCs and then have AA coverage, I think, as best you can. Obviously against 300 T1 bombers, there's only so much that you can do, but have some AA coverage. We do have the Monkey Lord now moving in on Drunken Chaos's commander. Tries to ground fire, isn't able to. Does have torpedoes though on that Monkey Lord, so... Oh, as Drunken Chaos actually going for the TP here. I'm not sure where he's going. Where did he go? I think that was a ground fire there. I'm not sure what actually got ground fired. I think it may have been an artillery. But Drunken Chaos working on a TP. And Monkey Lord trying to ground fire him. This is great. You'd think that the laser would like just evaporate the water around it and then you'd be able to hit it. But let's go see if I can find where he's teleporting. Oh, this is where he's going. He's going up here. On 260 energy per second. It's gonna take a while, friend. And here we got the torpedo bombers now coming out from Massey McGee. So Massey McGee not wanting to let this game go out any longer. Very well played though by both sides, in my opinion. But I think that Team 2 can look back on that one experimental push as potentially the time that lost momentum. There were other areas in the game where you know, there were critical mistakes, like Blistery not putting up enough shielding and losing his SMD. But I think that the part that really crushed him was that experimental push not getting done when it needed to get done. As Drunken Chaos bows out of the game. And that leaves Blistery Mystery as our last commander. He too will bow out of the game. We made it, guys. Third time is the charm. I'm so happy I made it to the end of this game. The other 2 times I had made it like 20 minutes in. And now we have a desync, but who gives a shit? Thank you guys so much for watching. Really appreciate you guys for doing that. If you wouldn't mind, if you enjoyed it, give the video a like. Consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. I don't ask for it much. But that is about all I've got for you. Make sure to submit any replays to the FAF replays channel. It's the best place to get casted. Lots of casters pull from there, like myself. And there are a ton of casters that are coming up in the community. So I would definitely check the streamers and casters list that is maintained on the FAF homepage, because I can't even keep up with how many new casters and content creators there are for this game out there, which is super exciting. I love to see it. But anyway, that's it from me, guys. I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.